There's a topic that's been on my mind for a little bit, and it's been more and more salient as time's gone on, as the coronavirus has gone on, and it's the idea of these petty masked tyrants, and frankly major masked tyrants in the form of governors and these ghoulish-looking health commissars, whatever they are, and the main crux of the issue is that you have the media, the mainstream media and government officials have pushed this narrative that the coronavirus is so deadly that you could be transmitting it without even knowing you have it. So that wearing a mask becomes sort of a moral consideration of other people. It's patently absurd because they're telling you this thing is so dangerous and so deadly that you may have it and be walking around like a walking biological weapon, transmitting it to other people and killing them. You know, there's been people saying if you're not wearing a mask, it's basically like a manslaughter or a negligent homicide, and all sorts of bizarre statements like this from mayors and from these state health officials and from even governors and more. So notice some trends with this that I wanted to bring up that's sort of bizarre. One is that these people, particularly white liberals, have been deputized as petty mask tyrants and mask enforcers, and they fancy themselves some sort of vigilante. And I've seen it time and time again. I've experienced it myself. You know, I was drinking a cup of coffee in the store, and I bought the coffee from the store, and I had my neck buff down around my neck so I could drink it. And this person, this diversity citizen, comes out of nowhere, and it's like, masks are required in the store, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, 30 feet away from you, so I don't really know what you're getting at. Just stay away from me, freak. You know, I've had other incidences, and I generally wear a face covering just, even though I think there's an absurdity to it, it's just not the hill I'm going to die on. I'm not going to go get in a fist fight with somebody in a grocery store and deal with the problems that's going to entail over this bizarre political thing. I have obviously other platforms, other ways I can air out my grievances for the time being. This being one of them. I've noticed that people are leaving Yelp reviews on restaurants and bars complaining about the mask etiquette, and they will say things like, the food was great and the service was great, but I noticed somebody in the back took their mask down over their nose for a little bit. That's concerning. 1 star. And I have a friend that works for the health department, the county health department, and they were telling me that they are inundated with calls constantly. They had to set up a whole other line in answering service for these people. There are people who go out every day and then call the health department every day when they see somebody in a grocery store or a bar or restaurant that's not properly doing the mask thing or not enforcing it. That they think they're not enforcing it on the customers well enough. This is extremely bizarre. So when you think about this, there's a person who claims to believe, the official narrative about how deadly COVID-19 is. They purposefully avail themselves out into the general public around people that they know nothing about, and then complain about it when people don't socially distance or wear the mask to their liking. These people obviously aren't afraid of the virus in the way that they say they are, because if they were, they wouldn't be going to a new restaurant and grocery store every single day and then calling the health department on them. There are people, there was a viral tweet and an article that they called a mask vigilantes, which is just a whole nother can of worms. But these people, it was going on over Thanksgiving especially, I think is where these articles and viral tweets came from, when people were having gatherings that were suspected to be larger than 6 people, and they were calling the police on them. Why would you social distance from healthy people? that is patently bizarre as well. I mean, it frankly makes no sense. And the CDC and other reports have gone back and forth on the asymptomatic and non-symptomatic or pre-symptomatic transmission of COVID-19. And they seem to want to be saying that it does and can transfer pre-symptomatically or non-symptomatically, even though the data seems to say otherwise in some of the studies I've seen. But it kind of goes back and forth, and it really makes you wonder. Makes you wonder when there's a group of people telling healthy people that they need social distance for what? Why? That makes zero sense. Why do healthy people? I mean, if you're not showing any signs of being sick and you're not sick, what's the issue? Unless they're saying, you could have it and not be sick, which raises the whole other issues about the deadliness about this issue. So these people, man, I've seen in public. I was at a restaurant and this group walked in with no mask, and the people, they just took their order like normal, gave them their stuff, and they sat down. And then this other person came up from a table that was already seating and got in the waitresses and stuff's face. And they're like, "Why didn't you kick those people out? They weren't wearing a mask." And the waitress is like, "Well, yeah, I don't know if they have some sort of prohibitive health condition. I mean, they were standing far back. I have a mask. Like, I'm not going to kick them out because they weren't, wearing a mask when they're social distancing," which is another issue. Why do you need to wear the mask and social distance? If you're far away, if the social distancing thing is legitimate, then why do you need the mask if you're far away from the people? Again, notwithstanding that, it's a whole, once again, another little side tangent you could go on. So this person now is in the waitress's face without a mask on, like face to face, screaming at her. Obviously, she isn't that concerned. Or she wouldn't be out in public. She wouldn't be in this waitress's face. She would do a whole litany of things very differently. She really just gets off being a petty mask tyrant. She really enjoys this little bit of power she thinks she has over people. It's like in the article I discussed where when a diversity American attacks a normal American, in the article and comments are always like, well, maybe they said the gamer word and then deserved it. The media's giving them a pass to act how they frankly always wanted to act. And that's sort of what's going on here. These genic freaks that are obese and out of shape and can't really lord over anything now feel like they have this ability to control normal, healthy, strong, non-immunocompromised people. They are frankly genetic defects in humanoid form, and they are lashing out against their betters. And this petty mask tyranny is one of the ways in which they are doing so. And one other point I wanted to talk about on the greater mass tyrants. In my state, there's an absurd curfew of 10 p.m., right? Everything's got to be closed up by 10 p.m. You think about who this affects, late night bars and restaurants, right? And I have a theory on this. So, if you're a breakfast restaurant or a more early morning establishment and you are open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., your hours were not limited whatsoever, right? You are able to operate for your 8 hours that you're open. Let's just, hypothetically, let's say it's something like that. Now, if you're a bar and you're open from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., the same time span and, ostensibly same square footage, same capacity, same patronage, and so on. Why would one be more dangerous than the other? Why is it that a bar would have to close so many more hours early than normal, but a similarly situated establishment that serves breakfast would not have to be closed any hours? It makes really no sense. And these people, these these trust the science kind of people have not showed any studies on why they are doing this or why they think this works. It just, they think it's a hunch. Well, maybe people drink and don't social distance or don't wear their mask like they should be. Really, I'll tell you what I think it is. They dislike the fact that despite all of their fear-mongering and mandates and press conferences every day and war room meetings, that there was a cohort of people who were saying, yeah, that's cool. I'm young and healthy. I'm going to go out and have some drinks with my buddies. I'm going to go have some drinks, and some girls saying, I'm going to go have some drinks and dance with the girls. I'm going to go have a little fun. What the curfew is really about, in light of the hypotheticals, and not really hypotheticals, there are businesses in town that are breakfast and early hours that have not had their hours curtailed, and all these restaurants and bars have. The issue is that there was a group of people who were not taking them seriously. They were going out and having fun, regardless of all of the scaremongering and everything else. These are people who looked at the data and said, oh, wow, so if I get this in my age group, the odds of me dying are 1 in 1,000. And that's just my general age group. The odds of a healthy person dying are probably 1 in 10,000. So the ones that do die have comorbidities and or immunocompromised. So they're saying, oh, so this actually isn't very deadly for me at all. Okay, I'm gonna go have a little fun. I don't really care. The curfew was to punish those people. I absolutely believe it. And I think a lot of the businesses that were open later, a lot of the
bars don't tend to be chains. There's like local bars. You don't have like the Ruby Tuesdays of bars, for example. Same with a lot of the restaurants that are open a little bit later. They tend to be smaller businesses, locally owned. This is disproportionately affecting them. Best Buy hours, their hours are still good. Best Buy can stay open all the time, and they can have, they have big box stores with 30,000 plus square feet, so they can have 100, 200 people in there. They're pretty much are able to operate at normal capacity on any given day. But your local bar, a couple people watching a football game or something, no, can't do that. It's another example of this. And the final thing I wanted to bring up is the idea of masks inherently. You see them particularly in East Asian cultures with high population density. People, they were communal. If they were sick and they had to go somewhere, they would wear a mask to not communicate, not spread the disease. That's cool. I get that. I think it's great. But now they're doing a thing where, because some people get sick, everyone has to wear the mask, which is odd to me and really rather nonsensical. So they're saying, used to be if you're sick, or you're worried about it, you don't go out. Okay, well enough. And now that has changed to this fiction that if you are going out, and especially if you're going out not wearing a mask, you are putting everyone else in danger, which again doesn't really make any sense when you're not sick. And I think this is what's going on with these people calling the police on others. You're seeing, people getting dragged out of places, getting arrested, getting assaulted because they weren't wearing a mask. These are basically the modern day heretics that don't believe in this new science, this sort of religion of science. One final point. Final point is the return of the miasma theory. I was in an outdoor mall not too long ago, out in the courtyard, totally across the way from this. I intentionally avoid people anyway, like as general practice. I'm kind of a misanthrope, but I want to be around people. Leave me alone. That sort of thing. I'm, sipping on coffee because I'm always in the coffee zone. Way on the other end of the courtyard, right? And I'm getting this group of women were like giving me the dirtiest looks ever. They would just like stared me down, and I just, of course, stared them down too, because I don't care. Anytime anybody gives me any dirty looks or anything, I just give them back. What are they going to do? So they're just like
shooting darts my way, and I'm just staring them down, and then I hear one of them mumble something about a mask. Yeah, I'm outside. I'm 100 feet away from anybody. Why do you want me to wear a mask? Like, what exactly do you want from me? What they want is conformity and control. And this is the sort of we're all in this together trope that frankly I don't believe in. Because I'm not in it with these people. These are not my in-group. These are out-group freaks. And I want nothing to do with them. And it's becoming more and more intolerable by the day to share any space with them whatsoever, particularly in an entire society. And, I don't really know where this is going to end up. I have some theories. It could go several different ways, but that all remains to be seen. Hey, hope y'all have a good night. Hope y'all enjoyed the drive, and I will talk to y'all soon. Take care.